Hello guys, good morning. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all are going good. So yesterday we had discussed about, yesterday was our first demo. We had discussed about what was the course content and what is the course duration. And we have also discussed about what is the data engineering, what is Google Cloud Platform, right? So those kind of a basic concepts that we have discussed yesterday. So let us try to understand one few more basic concepts today, and we will also start. We will also start some our first sorry. Our first topic, that is Google Cloud Storage. Okay, so let us start the session, guys, without any delay. So you guys might be wondering about what was the difference between a data lake, a data warehouse, as well as the RDBMS, right? So we are working on a OLTP systems. We are responsible for working with the data lake. We are responsible for working in the data warehouse. But somewhere we will be we'll be having a confusion that what is the main difference between all of these systems. Okay, so let us try to understand what is actually RDBMS and what is the main purpose of having a RDBMS. And we will also understand what is the data lake, what is the main purpose of a data lake, and what is a data warehouse, what is the main purpose of having a data warehouse, right? Let us try to understand that point. Okay, so for that one, let me give you an example. Assume that there's a company, okay, there's a company called Flipkart. Okay, Flipkart is actually running their business from the last 15 years. Assume that. Okay, so how the Flipkart actually runs is that you might be every day using the Flipkart application to order some kind of a products from the Flipkart, right? So you will be assume that this is a Flipkart application, and there will be plenty of users will be there. Okay, each user trying to open the application and trying to interact with the application every day. Okay, so people try to open the application and try to interact with the application by ordering something or by adding their address or whatever the activity that they are doing, right? So all such kind of information will be actually store the data. Okay, even though when you actually open the application, what is happening here is that application does not store the data. So as soon as you open the application, whenever you search for some item, like whether you wanted to order some clothing product, okay, you wanted to order some jeans. So as soon as you search with the jeans, right, you will be displayed some amount of jeans products and their price tag and the discount and all the product description, everything. Even though with the reviews also you'll be able to get it. But application does not having a data. But from where the application getting the data, there will be a backend, right? So that backend we are talking about a OLTP. Okay, so this is what is a OLTP, guys. OLTP. OLTP is nothing but a transactional processing system. So as soon as you open the application, that application will be connected to the OLTP via API. So if you try to search some product on the application, it will be connected to the OLTP, and whatever the information that you wanted, right, it will be taken from here and shown in the form of a proper structure in the web page, right? So that is what happens in the backend. So what is a OLTP now? OLTP is the one where actual data is stored, actual user interaction, actual information of the products will be actually stored here only. Okay, so OLTP, people also call it as a RDBMS. You can also say that it is a RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Okay, the main purpose of the relational database management system is to run the business, because if you do not have this OLTP, what happens is that your application does not your application is not supported by any OLTP. Your application does not have any backend, so that application does not get any data to show the information to the users. So this is what happens. Okay, so as soon as a user interaction is also happened, for example, assume that so you as a person order some jeans, so but where is the data is actually stored again? So as soon as you created one kind of a product order, that order information again goes to the OLTP system, and there will be a product table, there will be an order table, there will be a customer table, there will be a transaction table, there will be a sales table. All of these tables will be one more record is added. That is, this person has a new customer, came to a Flipkart application, and his address is this one, his phone number is this one, and he has ordered this product of worth of this one, and everything, each and every table will be filled with one more record of the data of that particular order. Made an order on the Flipkart application, that order will be actually stored in the OLTP system. So that is also called as a RDBMS solutions. RDBMS is nothing but a relational database management system. The data will be in the form of a table here. Okay, 1 minute, guys. Yeah, sorry. So as soon as an application is interacted with the help of any of the person, that interaction will be actually stored in the OLTP system. This is how application is supported by the OLTP system as, for storing the data. Not only for storing the data, whenever there is a user wanted to see some kind of a data, there will be API call will be there. And due to that, OLTP sends some information to the application. Applications again showcase the data to the users. So this is how OLTPs are the very most important, or the RDBMS solutions are the very most important for your business to run. Okay, because if you do not have a OLTP, what happens that your application does not supported by any OLTP, one thing, and one more thing is that a user, even though interact with the application, that data will not be stored here. Okay, so this is what happens, because if it is not happening, if this is not, 1 minute guys, a lot of disturbance on it. Okay, so this is how OLTP systems are mainly intended for. The purpose of the OLTP here is to run the business. Okay, that is fine, sir. Now tell me, sir, Flipkart is running from the last 15 years. That means every year, every day, there will be a people are interacting with the application. That means we need to have all 15 years data in the RDBMS solution or OLTP system. But what happens if I store the entire data in the OLTP? Okay, see that Flipkart is running from the last 15 years, and whenever the data is generated at the application, that application has to send the data to the OLTP. OLTP is the person actually storing the data. Now Flipkart is running from the last 15 years. That means all the entire 15 years data to be available in the OLTP, but companies does not do that. Why? Because see, if I put an entire data 15 years into the OLTP, what happens is that the burden on the OLTP is very high. The burden on the OLTP is very high that it cannot support the application properly. So the main intention of the OLTP is to run the business and support the application. If we don't support the application, whatever the data generated in the application may not be able to store here. So if I put a lot of data in the 15 years data in the OLTP, it is not able to support the application. So I should not do that. Okay. What I can do is that instead of storing the last 15 years data, I will just keep only last 6 months data here. I'll just keep only last 6 months data. Okay. If I put only last 6 months data, so that data is actually, people call it as a transactional data. Only last 6 months data is actually the transactional data. What about the other data, sir? What about other than the transactional data? So people actually call it as a historical data. So do we need the historical data? First thing, the very first question is, do we need that 14.5 years of data? If we don't need it, we can delete it. First thing, right? If we don't need it, because this last 6 months data is very much important, because the last 6 months data or last 3 months data, whatever it is, but that is a transactional data, because user wanted to see the information, or user wanted to place a written order, or user wanted to check his orders, and that kind of information wanted to be, user wanted to check it. So that's the reason what I will do, as per my business, last 6 months data I'll be able to store in my OLTP system, so that information will be very useful for the transaction purpose. Okay, so that I'll be having a 6 months data in the OLTP. But what about that 14 years of the data? So do we need it? Do we need that 14 years of the data? If we don't need it, can I delete it? Okay, so that's where the question of businesses think about is that. So what they usually think about is that this 14 years of the data is nothing but a historical data. Okay, it is nothing but a historical data. What they try to do is that they actually try to store this data in the form of a warehouse. Okay, when you have a lot of products in your home, what do you try to do? You will create a storeroom and you will keep all of those products in the some storeroom, right? So likewise, this is a historical data. This is the last 14.5 years of the data, and they wanted to store in somewhere, because they think that if they analyze this data, they will be able to understand the customer behavior. Okay, what is they are thinking? The businesses are thinking that if they understand this historical data, they will be able to get some insights from it. Those insights are very useful for their customer to understand the customer behavior and to attract the more customers. So for that main reason, they are trying to store this entire 15 years data into some other platform that is called as, that's where OLAPs are introduced for. OLAP. Or you can also say that as data warehouse. The name itself, it is saying you that, sir. Data warehouse. It's a warehouse for your data. So warehouse, what kind of a data we are going to store in the warehouse? A large amount of the data, and it is a historical data. Now, what kind of a data we are storing here in the warehouse, sir? Historical data. Where this data actually comes from? Tell me, sir, where this data actually comes from? This data has to be come from the OLTP only, right? This data has to be coming from the OLTP, because as soon as the one record of the data, some amount of data which is having a validity more than 6 months, that data has to be moved from the OLTP to the OLAP. Okay, because 6 months is a transactional data. If it is having a validity of more than 6 months, that is a historical data. That data has to be moved to the OLAP. Okay, OLAP is what? It is an online analytical processing. Analytical processing. The name itself, it is suggesting that analytics we are going to do on top of our data. If I want, why I am doing the analytics on top of my data? If I do some kind of analytics on my historical data, that historical data gives me some information, gives me some insights on the data. If it gives me some insights on the data, I will be able to use the business managers will be able to use that insights to understand the customer behavior or understand the inventory, how much inventory I have to put it in this month. That's the reason you might be understanding, right? So Amazon or Flipkart having a lot of inventory at some point of time in 2 months in every year, there will be having a lot of inventory because the orders will be very high in that particular time. And if they wanted to attract more customers, the way that they wanted to showcase the data will be changed every year. Okay, so how they are doing that kind of a changes, it's because of this thing only. So whenever they understand the data, they'll come up with some kind of insights. If they if they have insights, a business managers will be the correct person to take a decision on top of a data. And when they take the decision, they change the business. That changes the business. Okay, and they attract a new customer. How the sales trend was there, they will be able to understand it. What was the profit last year? Everything they will be able to understand the data. Okay, so to understand or to do the analytics on the data, you need to have the data. So that's where you need to store the data in some platform. So that's where the OLTPs are, OLAPs are for, or the data warehouses are for. Data warehouses are mainly intended to do what, sir? Now tell me, what is the main purpose of having a data warehouse? To improve the business, right? Okay, without, if you do not have an intention of improving the business, you don't store the data. If you don't store the data in the OLAP, if you don't think, if the businesses are not thinking that there is no use of a data of this historical, they don't store it. They directly delete it. But they think that if I understand this or if I store this first thing, storing the data is also a challenging, sir, because storing the data of 14 years of the data of a Flipkart or Amazon kind of a business is not simple. Okay, it needs a dedicated a cluster of machines to store this data. Okay, so because it's not 1 year data, 2 years data, it's 15 years of the data. And one more thing is storing is challenging. Once the storage is properly done, the very next thing is properly transforming the data. And the transformation is also one more thing. Then do the analysis on top of the data. Then creates a BI reports or dashboards on top of the data. So there is a plenty of transformation steps again, or business improvement steps again there in the OLAP, so that you will be able to understand the business properly, and you will be able to get new customers, or getting understanding the sales behavior, or where you wanted to put a lot of inventory in a year. So all of those things will become from this particular step only. So this is what it is improving the business, guys. So the main intention of the OLTP is to run the business, because if your application is not supported by the OLTP backend RDBMS, your application does not survive. If your application does not survive, your users does not use your application, right? So if you open one application, if you don't get the data, you are trying for a clothing product, or if you don't get the search results in the next 1 second or 2 seconds, you don't use that application. If there is a lot of delay, okay, you don't use such kind of application. So there is a lot of challenge here, is that application has to be in a proper format, showcasing a proper results in a proper images, even though it has to be showing an images, reviews, everything. As soon as the user is interacted with the application, that data has to be showcased in the application. So for that purpose, OLTPs are the main important. So without that, your business will not be running, or your application will not be running. So the main intention of the OLTP is to run the business. Likewise, the main intention of the OLAP is to improve your business. Right? So far, so good. So you understand what is a RDBMS, you understand what is a data warehouse. Okay. Now, where is the data lakes come into the picture? Where the data warehouses comes into the pictures? Okay. So why? Because data lakes come into the picture is that, so you have a OLTP, you have a OLAP. Okay, so assume that your business is not having only one application, right? Your business not having only one application. Assume that you have this also. For example, sir, this is an application for your sales data. This is a sales application. There is a one more application for the inventory application. There is a one more application for the HR data. There will be a one more application for one more some kind of a, because Flipkart will be having a plenty of applications. Okay, and that means plenty of RDBMSs are supporting those applications. So, but finally, entire data has to be coming to the data warehouse only. Okay, even though you have a plenty of applications, the entire enterprise data will be stored in the data warehouse only. Okay, so you may be having one more application and one more OLTP. Okay, but you have only one OLAP, so that is the data warehouse, and it is storing the entire enterprise data. Flipkart entire enterprise data will be having only one data warehouse, guys. It will be storing entire data in the one data warehouse only. Coming to the one business. So when you go to the banking sector, you will be having a banking sector, mutual funds, online transactions. You will also be having a loan section. So all those are the applications. Sorry. All those are the applications. Those applications are supported by the RDBMS again. But if you wanted to see all of those applications in one platform, that is the banking data warehouse will be there. So what is happening is that there will be a storage layer. What that storage layer will do is that it will accept the data from all of these applications, first thing, and it will send the data to the data warehouse. Okay, so this is what happens. And that storage layer, that staging layer, I'm calling as a data lake. Okay, that staging layer I'm calling as a data lake. What is a data lake, sir? A data lake is a centralized large repository to store your the data comes from a multiple data sources. However, the data was there in the original platform, here the data in the same format. For example, if it is there in the JSON format, it will be the JSON format here. If it is 100 GB here, it will also be 100 GB here. If it is a CSV file format of a data, it will be the CSV file format of the data. If it is a tabular data, it will be the same tabular data, because data lakes are not for the processing. Data lakes are to store the data in the original raw format only. Okay, so however you have the data in your original raw tables or original source layer, the same data will be stored in the same format. It does not do any changes. Okay, why we are having a data lake? A data lake is a very important for us to store the data in single platform. Okay, after that, whatever transformations you wanted to do, so that's where the ETL pipelines come into the picture, right? Extract, transform, and load. So these pipelines, extract is our source, and transform and send it to the data warehouse. So this is what is the main intention of having a data lake, sir. Data lake is for storing the data of multiple data sources in a one single platform without having to worry about the size and restriction on the file format and also the number of files. Okay, so this is the main intention of a data lake, guys. So far, so good. Any questions?
Yeah, hi. So here is from data lake to the OLTP. So how will you transfer through ETL, or is any other tools or any?
There are plenty of tools. There are plenty of the tools. What happens is nowadays most of the people are actually using the data lakes. So you can also use the ETL tools. Okay. So some people earlier, how they usually do is that, so you will be having a OLTP system. They will be using some kind of a ETL tools, right? Such as Informatica, Talent, all of those these things. What I will call ETL tools. With the help of them, they extract the data from the OLTP. On the fly, they do the transformations and send it to the OLAP. So this is what they try to do with the help of the Informatica, Talent, and SSIS. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In cloud also, we will be having plenty of such things, guys. In cloud also, we are talking about OLTP tomorrow, RDBMS solution, that is cloud SQL. So you shouldn't confuse that, sir, what is a cloud SQL? When I say an RDBMS or a OLTP, should be able to understand, okay, this is what is the OLTP, this is what is the OLAP, and that's how you should be able to understand. Tomorrow, I'll talk about a data lake, that is a cloud storage. And this is the main intention of having a data lake. When I talk about a BigQuery, that is a data warehouse, this is the main intention of having a data warehouse. Okay. So this way you'll be able to understand that the main difference between, this is not a definition. Okay. The definition is very broad. This is just to make you understand that how actually the business end-to-end happens. Okay. There are plenty of tools involved here. There are plenty of pipelines has to be running behind the scene to make this happen. But this is an overall in general idea of how a user interacts with the application and where it is support, how that application is supported by a OLTP, and how that OLTP is data to be moved to the OLAP, why it has to move it. First thing, okay, OLTP can store the entire 15 years data, that's not a problem, but why it is storing it? Okay, why it is not storing it, why it is moving it to the data warehouse, and why we need to have a data warehouse. Okay, all of these things we will be able to understand this with the help of this diagram, which is very useful for us to understand the in general idea or overall idea of what is an application, OLTP, OLAP, and data lake. The main purpose of all of them.
So your set is the OLTP is nothing but is a cloud SQL, and OLAP is nothing but it's like just imagine like it is a BigQuery or big table.
Correct.
So
correct.
is the same way as the data lake is any part of the GCP?
It is a data lake is a Google Cloud Storage is there. Cloud storage.
Okay. Cloud storage. Okay.
Yeah. So we are going to learn about these things, guys. So I will be starting with this is all called as a cloud SQL. This is called as
cloud storage and BigQuery and Bigtable. These are all the things are the different terminologies and means different storages, different names.
So you should understand this thing. I mean, I will be telling you in our upcoming classes. You should understand this point. So maybe I'll give you some idea. So when you look at the data, there are different formats of the data, guys. So when you look at the data, there are different formats of the data. So classification of the data, you can think of like this. For example, you have a structured data. Or we will come with unstructured data. We will be having unstructured data. We will be having a semi-structured data. We will be having a structured data, right? So when you are working in a data field, these are the classification of the data that you are actually looking at. You will be having unstructured data, semi-structured data, structured data. So in if you come to the structured and semi-structured, you will be actually looking at OLTP as well as OLAP. In a structured also, you will be having OLTP as well as OLAP. You can't store the data of unstructured data in the OLTP or OLAP. There is only dedicated one platform, that is cloud storage. You can directly store the data into the cloud storage, that is unstructured data in the Google Cloud Storage. Or when you have a data in the form of a tabular data, which is CSV file kind of a data, or whether whatever the format kind of a data which does not have a schema properly, then if you wanted to store that semi-structured kind of a data, you will be having a big table. What was that? I forgot. One more is also there, guys. Big table. I forgot the name. Firestore. Okay, Cloud Firestore. Okay, what is the best thing about the big table is that big table can be used for, it was designed in such a way that it can be used for both OLTP and OLAP. When you come to the structured kind of a data, this is our area, guys. This is our area. Mainly, we focus on this thing and this thing. Okay. And when you come to the OLAP, OLTP, for the structured data, you will be having a Cloud SQL and Cloud Spanner. When you come to the OLAP, you will be having a BigQuery. Okay, so this is based on your data. So what is your data? You have to understand. Sir, my data is a structured data. What is meant by structured data? So data will be in the form of a table, and the data will be having a rows and columns, and there will be a schema must. There will be a relation between the rows and columns, that is we are calling as a schema. So the schema has to be properly defined. If that is there, then we call it as a structured data. Okay, if a structured data, if you wanted to store, then you can go for these things. Okay, no sir, I do not know. Sir, I do not know. My manager give me some file with me, some file to me, and that file I do not know whether it is a structured data, semi-structured data, or JSON file, JSON format, CSV format. I do not know that. So as soon as you do not know any data, you can directly store it in the form of a in GCS file. So whether it is unstructured data, semi-structured data, or structured data, you can actually store it in the GCS. Okay, so this is one thing. And when you have a semi-structured kind of a data, you can go to the big table and Firestore. So this is how, as per our requirement of the data, we will be able to store the data in different formats. So we will be starting our topic with the GCS. Maybe tomorrow I will be telling you the very first topic, that is Google Cloud Storage. And what is a Google Cloud? It is not this much simple, and you may not be understanding this the difference now. This is just to make you understand that in Google Cloud Platform, according to your data classification or according to your data requirement, you will be having a proper solution for each and everything. Okay, that is the main idea for this diagram. And in our upcoming classes, we will come to know. And at the end of the class, at the end of our sessions, if I tell you this thing, okay, you will be able to understand a lot of things from this diagram. For now, you may not be understanding very much, but this is the overall idea. For storage or database, this is called, this entire things are called as a storage and database services. This is an entire category in the Google Cloud Platform. It comes under storage and databases. We have a storage GCS, we have a databases, big table, Cloud SQL. These are the databases. Okay, so this is a one module in the Google Cloud Platform. Yeah. Any other questions anyone having? But just understand this point only. This is not enough. This is not required for now. I will be telling you in our upcoming classes as well. Okay. So far, so good. Yeah.
Yeah, in the real-time classes, can you explain this as a GCP architecture and how we can make the cost of the each services, how much we can get, where we can see in the, is there any platform to check it out, how much cost for the each service?
We are having a, if I wanted to check the, see for example, you are using a Cloud SQL for some time, or you are using a GCS for storing the data, because see, I'm going to tell you this thing so that you'll be able to understand. So each service in the GCP, okay, each service in the GCP is associated with the two costs. Okay, actually, this is more of a, I mean, it's a question that you asked me. I'm trying to explain you, but this is nowhere. This is not actually a beginning topic. Okay, this is not actually a beginning topic. If I try to explain you today, I mean, most of the people may not be understanding, but I'll tell you just only one point. So each and every service in the GCP associated with the two costs. One is storage cost, one more is computation cost. Okay, one is storage cost, one more is computation cost. So based on this one, so if you are just doing the storage, the cost will be there. If you are doing the computation, the cost will be there. If you are retrieving the data, again, that comes under processing only, again, computation. So when you are actually going for a GCS, again, you will be having a storage cost and one more is retrieval cost. And if you are going for the data proc, you will be having a storage cost and you will be having a computation cost. So if you wanted to look at all of these things, you can able to go to the billing section and you will be able to look at, and according to the month or according to the project or according to the services, you will be able to see the what is the amount of cost associated for that particular project in this particular day or hour, whatever the thing, you will be able to check it. Okay, and you can able to export the data as well. You will be able to use, you will be able to do the analytics on top of that data as well, billing data as well. Yes.
Okay, before using, we can able to check it out how much cost it is going to happen for this each storage and completion cost.
Of course. Whenever you are creating an instance, you'll be able to understand. While you are creating an instance for the GCS itself, you'll be able to come to know that what is for the entire month, what is going to do, what is the cost going to be.
Okay, okay. And one more thing is the last question is like, so once this is a session, is the 45 days of the course is completed. So is the how much support you can give on any doubts, anything, any such kind of thing?
So we will be having a dedicated platform. There will be a portal create. I mean, a Telegram group or WhatsApp group will be created, guys. So usually what happens is that I mean, students, my students will be asking a question in that one. I'll be actively trying to answer those things. And some people will be asking some material. I'll be sharing that material. Some people told me that, sir, I'm going for this certification and can you give me some material so that I'll be able to. So that kind of things are happening. And I have seen messages getting the material for me and going for the certification and say that, sir, I have successfully completed my certification. So we have seen that people, and whenever you're coming across an interview also, they're asking some kind of a questions, typical questions usually, right? So that typical questions are asking, and you can able to text in the Telegram group itself. I'll be able to answer those questions. So that's not a problem at all. So we'll be having a dedicated platform where you can ask your questions. I'll be able to answer those things.
So only Telegram, only the Telegram app.
Yes, yes. Or you can, so if you need any more support from me, if you need any additional support from me other than this one. So because what in our course, this is what we do. So course will be completed. For the course, material will be shared. For the course, recordings will also be shared. And for the course, I will also be sending you the resumes. Okay.
Okay.
For the course,
any interview questions? Any interview?
That is also there. So some commonly asked interview questions also I will be sending. So this for the course, with this course, these are all the things that you are going to get it. So I told you the course content, that course content. I have shown you the material, and the recordings will be shared to you every day. And the resume templates. Okay, some 15 plus resumes are there according to the experiences. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years also we have experience. Resume templates are there, and previous student resumes are also there. I'll be able to send you that. And we have like more than some 50 questions. Okay, more than some 50 commonly asked questions we have. So I'll be able to share you that as. So other than this, if you need any additional support from me, okay, if you are having some kind of a questions or I wanted you to answer that, then you can go for the Telegram group. Okay, this is one thing. And other than that, sir, I still need some kind of a support from me. You can connect with our team and they will be able to connect with me and we can talk more.
And one more thing is like by completion of this course, so what kind of experience I can use it? I mean, so can I get it as a 3+ experience? 3+ experience I can have this after completion of this course, or the 5+ or the 10+? How much experience?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I'm going to suggest to my students that even though it gives more than 4 years of experience with this course, I would go with the 3+. Okay, so whatever the experience you have. So for example, you have 5 years of experience. You say that last 3 years I worked on Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so even though you have a 7 years, you say that last 3 years or 4 years I worked on the Google Cloud Platform on these projects. So we are going to cover those projects. Okay, so that's how.
Okay, at last we can get it. It's like after completion of this course, we can get it the knowledge of 3 years experience.
3 years, yes. So if you are actually having 3 years, you can just say 2. So if you are actually having 3 years, you can also go for 3, or better to go for 2. That's when. Okay, according to your experience level, put it like last 3 years is going to be working on. Even though I have seen my students who are having a 15 years of experience also, I suggested them that few more concepts as well. So additionally, they asked me, sir, I am from a 15 years experience and currently I'm working at a lead level. And is this course will be really helpful for me? I wanted to change my domain. Of course, this course will be helpful for those people who are having 15 years of experience also. The only thing that you have to focus on is that 3 to 4 years of experience, the course is give to you. the one more two important aspects you have to cover is governance and security. Few things are covered in our session, but major things are not covered in our session because our course is mainly intended for the data engineers. Governance and security is mainly for those who are going for a leadership level. Okay, so if you are having such kind of a mindset, sir, I'm having almost 10 plus years of experience. Okay, I will provide you the material for the governance and security. Focus on this area. And this is a very much important for those who are actually going for a leadership positions. Okay, so this is.
So is there any separate cost for that, or the same? If you ask,
no.
so
I'll just share you the material. It's the same. I'll just share you the material. I'm not covering that in our sessions, but I'll share you some notes with you. And it is not that much, just to make you understand how you do take care of the data governance. How do you take care of the data security? So those things are very much important for those who are planning for because when you are in a leadership positions, you have to take care of control activities. You have to take care of the control activities, audit activities, and you have to make sure that your project is your project data is accurate and compliant enough, and it is completeness of the data. So all of these things comes under these topics, so these two topics. So that is for the leadership. But if you are having just, sir, I'm having just 4-7 years of experience, don't worry about that. Just put last 4 years or 3 years on the GCP. That's it.
Do you cover data fusion and data prep?
Sorry?
Do you cover data fusion and data prep? Nowadays, they're asking data fusion also.
Yes. Will cover, yeah. Any other questions, guys?
no,
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so far so good, I believe. So do one thing for me. Okay, I think this is actually Friday today. From Monday onwards, I think they're gonna change the link or whatever. I'm not sure about that. So try to do the registrations because the class will be on the same time, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day. So this is what is the class timings, guys, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day. So from Monday onwards, I'm just guessing that Monday onwards the link will be changed. So do your registrations.
Okay, every day that means the admin team is going to send a link to the who are registered in this class, or the same link?
Not every day. So what happens is that we are in a demo session, right? So for the demo sessions, I didn't think link is the same, but from Monday onwards, the link will be changed. It is only for those who have registered for the course, and they will also send you from Monday onwards recording session to your mail. Whoever has done the registration, they will get your mail address and phone number from that. So they will add it to the Telegram group, one thing, and they will send every day the recording session to your mail ID. Okay, so that's how they will be managing it. Yeah.
And if you don't mind, can you give me your phone number if anything is there to contact us?
I'm not allowed to share my phone number, so that's from the I'm coming from an institute, so I cannot be able to share my phone number. But once the registration is done, you will be having my contact in the Telegram group. You will be able to message me in that if you have some kind of a personal information if you need from me.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, how are the job calls on this GCP currently now, sir?
So not much, I would say not much how you have to deploy it, Java application on a GCP. Of course, I can tell you some information how we can deploy it with help of the app engine. Okay, but not much. Okay, so it's mainly for the data engineering, but I can explain you some information. Of course, some information on the Java application deployment is needed. I'll tell you, but not much. Yeah.
So how are the job calls currently?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. I'm telling you, there are plenty of the calls for the GCP. You put GCP data engineer, or you have a mobile phone, right? You can directly check out in Naukri as a GCP data engineer or a BigQuery developer or whatever it is. So you'll be having a plenty of opportunities. I'm telling you, as soon as you put your resume now, you will at least get in the next week. You will at least get 4 or 5 calls. That means 4 or 5 calls going for an interview. Okay, now the trend is there. So now there is a demand for the GCP data engineers. There is a plenty of opportunities, I would say. Okay, there's no worry of recession. There's no worry of such things. Data engineers, I'm telling you, there will be always an opportunity, because data, as soon as the data, so because 10 years before the data was less, data engineers are less. The data keeps on grows. Okay, then the data engineering opportunities keep on increases. There is no way that the data decreases. Okay, there's no way that the data decreases. Okay, there is a one more technology come into the picture to process the data very efficiently, but there is no way of decreasing the data. The generation of data is keep on increases. That means the opportunities for the data engineers will keep on increases, because data engineering is the foundation where data engineers are the ones first must create or process or data create the pipelines to process the data properly. So data engineers will always have a opportunity every time, because data keeps on generates. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. I think if you guys have any questions, you can ask me any type of a question you can able to ask. That's fine. From Monday onwards, I am starting up my first topic, that is Google Cloud Storage. Google Cloud Storage. What is a Google Cloud Storage? How to store the data in the cloud storage, and what is a bucket, what is the object, everything we are going to discuss. And with help of the Cloud Shell, with help of the console also, we are going to discuss. Okay, stay tuned, do your registrations, all the best. Keep learning. Hope you learned something today, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sir, can you repeat one more time regarding the job title after this course?
GCP data engineer, guys. You can mention GCP data engineer, GCP engineer, or Google Cloud engineer, cloud developer, all of those comes into this only. Or you can also mention, you can also go for PySpark developer. You can also go for SQL developer. All these are comes under this. Our course is going to be Apache Beam developer. So all these are the roles. Once we have completed our course, you are eligible for all of these things. GCP engineer, okay, cloud engineer, all of those things. Okay, yeah. You can check it, guys. You can check it in the Naukri as well. Okay. Chalo, let's wind up the session, guys. Thank you all. Have a great day. Meet you on Monday at same time, 7 a.m. Bye-bye.